Okay. Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Tuesday after convention, which can feel like, wow, I'm still exhausted. Or can feel like, I'm ready to go. But anyway, this is Chat with Chap. I'm your host, Ginger Wade, and I have my co-host with me today, Ro. And we are just going to do a little convention wrap up with you today. I don't know. It's fun to reflect, right, Ro? It's fun to get together and chat a little bit about it.
It totally is. Hey everyone, I'm so excited to be here. Ginger and I are going to tell you all the things you missed and all the things you need to know for next year.
Okay, so um, just so you guys know, if you did not come to convention and you have no idea what I'm talking about, which I can't imagine because, oh my goodness, it's like all we've been talking about for like a month or so. We host an annual convention. This year was the 36th one that we've held, we being CHAP. And it was at Elizabethtown College in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. That's so many syllables to say early in the morning. It was Thursday through Saturday. We had, I think, over 900 attendees, but I'm not quite
Ooh.
sure on the numbers yet. So that's better than last year. So we're super excited about that. And we were just kind of took over the college and we were just all over there. There were vendors and speakers and people and mentors and encouragers and people who were encouraged. And it was amazing. Like the weather was gorgeous. Like God did us a beautiful thing, right? It was hot.
Yes.
The one day was hot, but Saturday was perfect. I don't know. I think, was it Saturday? I think it was the last day. Yeah, it was just gorgeous. The sky was blue. There was a breeze. It was cooler. Oh, it was just what a beautiful weekend. So not
It was
only,
really gorgeous. And even that one day where there was like a 3 hour rain in the forecast, it drizzled for like 2 seconds and then it went away. That was awesome.
you know what? And it was warm. So when you were out, I was out in it and I was like, this feels good. Like
Yeah,
this is drippiness. And you're like, ah, this is, ah. So I just sat out in it and enjoyed it. But it was so good. There's just something about being together like that, Ro, isn't there?
absolutely. I love the theme, like just coming together and there's really even your podcast just came out about the importance of coming together and being together as you focused on Hebrews. And it really just showed that like the fellowship and the community and not being in isolation or operating in silos, but coming together with like-minded people who have the same vision and purpose. There's really something beautiful about it.
Yeah, there was so much relief. There were a lot of new time parents, and I heard lots of stories of relief. I'll tell a few a little bit later, but and one woman, she's so sweet. She's like, this is my first year. Next year, I'm bringing my husband. She said, I love that it was so biblical, like the biblical worldview, and so much, if not everybody, it was what they were sharing was bathed in prayer and biblical worldview, and that's how we are approaching what we're doing. And there were parents that were definitely so encouraged by that. And I mean, my prayer from every before each one of my sessions was, okay, where I'm weak, you are strong. Give me the words. And God never lets you down, right? He really was working through the whole thing. So let's just talk a little bit about what the weekend looked like. So Thursday, this was new for us this year, which I think, in my opinion, went well. We'll see what Ro thinks of here in a second and what y'all think later when you tell us. But so we had a college and career day in the morning, which was actually run by Elizabethtown College. It was not part of the convention, but it was in conjunction with the convention.
Mhm.
And that was great. I mean, kids took like an inventory, and then they had a career lady, which my daughter said she had lots of personality, right? She made it fun and she talked with the kids about their results and stuff like that. So it was interesting. That was really interesting for them. And we had some great sessions on, you know, Christian versus secular college and how is it that you decide what you're supposed to do and all this type of thing. And financial aid and admissions. So it's just very informative. Parents could come and ask lots of questions. So that was really good. And then at the same time, we had a special needs conference. So that was an add-on to the cost of convention. It was a special, just all to itself, in the same building, multiple rooms in the same building. So you could just be in there. And Yeah, that was excellent too. The only blip there was the construction, which made it difficult to get into the building if you were in a stroller, but can't do anything. Summer is when the college needs to do their stuff, right? So, and then we had new to homeschooling and high school at home and college at home, earning college credit at home on Thursday afternoon, which is like new. It was like a pre-convention warm-up session for all the new folks or folks who are breaching from elementary into secondary. And then the whole college idea, and we had used curriculum sales. So, Ro, you were there Thursday, right?
I was definitely there Thursday and I stopped at the youth curriculum fair. So glad that we had volunteers who made that possible.
Yeah, yeah. Dawn, I told her I apologize because I didn't. She was the first thing that you came to when you came on campus, right? So you
Yes.
see yes and nothing else. And poor Dawn, had I known, we would have had better signage or explanations or something because she fielded questions for everybody. Vendors were stopping there, people who were coming in to shop and register, like they came to her before they even went to
Right.
registration. Like, okay, so I should have had like the checklist for her. Okay, Dawn, tell them this because that
Yeah.
was the only place we had to do it. We had to do it there. Um, but yeah, she was like texting me constantly, like, "Oh, Dawn, I'm sorry," but yeah. So she said it was amazing. Like the honor system worked well, and people sold a lot, and then there was, I guess, was there a free table? I guess at one point, people could just were they giving some things out? I didn't make it
I
down
don't
there.
recall seeing a free, I definitely got there. I don't recall seeing a free table, but it was very nicely laid out. It was aesthetically pleasing. People were very friendly and Dawn was amazing. She knew what was going on. So
Yeah,
it's good to know she was getting all her information from you.
yeah, she's super flexible, and she just kind of goes with it. She really doesn't mind the surprises, right?
Okay.
She handles them really well. And she's local. I mean, I go to co-op with her, so I know her well and she knows the campus. So that did not
Hmm.
freak her out either. So it was really nice. I have to remember that. Keep her there for next year. But and she's a servant too, so that was really good. But
Hmm.
special needs, like I heard so many stories of folks who were encouraged just as Hal and Melanie Young and all their years of experience, and as they were speaking, and parents who came and were like, I had no idea that my child was struggling in this way. I just thought they were being, ornery or whatever. And now I need to go home and apologize to them because I just came at it with frustration, right? And not understanding what to do when there's something going on, right?
Right.
There was an issue there. It was so good to hear stories about people being aware of that and being able to make that right in their homes, and then other folks with just I think just feeling alone, like I'm going through this and it's so hard and it's such a struggle. And, why is this so hard or whatever? And then there was just such encouragement that they're not the only one. It is hard, and recognizing that people, yes, it is hard. I recognize it's hard, and I agree with you. Um, and then providing some tips and things to help with stuff. And so I think did you go to any of the special needs or talk with anyone who was there?
I did not attend any of the sessions, but I had the wonderful opportunity to interview the speakers, and I was so blown away by the transparency and the introspection and the perspectives and even the strategy, right? So, like what you
Mhm.
were talking about goes back to our earlier point about coming together. A lot of times, the enemy just thrives on isolation. He wants to keep you separate and
Yeah,
isolated from
yeah.
everyone so you can think you are alone and you're the only one who's experiencing this, and even a level of shame. But when you get into community and you hear, oh, I experienced that, and it's like, whoa, me too. It's so much relief to hear I'm not alone. There are people who have done it,
Yes.
there are people who have gone before me, and there is hope. So I'm so
Hmm.
excited that we had that. But I just remember interviewing Rochelle and Kathy
Hmm.
Cool and like talking to all these amazing women and like everyone needs to hear this.
Hmm.
Everyone needs to hear your story. So
Hmm.
I'm glad that
Hmm.
we had it.
Yeah. So we were able to record most of special needs. We recorded everything. We attempted to record everything. I think we lost two sessions in the regular convention, or maybe one of them. Well, there's one special needs we definitely don't have.
Okay.
So we will talk about recordings a little bit later in the podcast, but just so you guys know, we did not get Rochelle's because of technical challenges, but three of the things that Rochelle did are with other state organizations. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. So you can get 3 out of the 4 of hers. Her teen one is the only one we were not able to grab. So, okay, then moving on. And then so we had new to homeschool, we had high school. I heard that Jennifer DeRosa was awesome with her encouragement, and she talked about CLEP. Someone was telling me about
But
her CLEP. Her CLEP thing was amazing. Like, why do we not know about this?
yeah,
If you're interested in saving a few dollars and stuff and getting ahead on your college, you want to check out the recordings that Jennifer did. I heard they were really, really informative. Which,
yeah. I remember talking to her like during the
yeah,
interview and like taking copious notes,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay, my boys are 7 and 9 and 1, but I'm gonna take these notes down.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, so Thursday was great. It was new. I loved it. I thought it was wonderful. I did have a new mom. She was brand new and she came in and she said, "Where are all the people? Like I thought there'd be more people." And I said, "Well, tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the big day." And she was like, "Okay." But then she was like, "This is nice because um it's the sessions are intimate." Like Shannon Lehman was like, "I love mine. I had 8 people in it so I could really just talk to them." You know, that she was with special needs and IEP stuff. Uh and there was not so much traffic that you could orient yourself to like where everything is, and there wasn't, you're pushing against people and you're like, oh, I'm jostled, you know. It was, so that was nice about Thursday too. There were fewer people, but it was typically the newer folks who had to get their feet wet and it felt more comfortable. So I thought that went really great. So then Friday and Saturday was our standard. We had our vendor hall open up in the gym, and we had CHAP giveaway stuff going on. All the prizes were given out on Saturday, but then we had, all the sessions in the other areas in the buildings, and the team track was going on, which my daughter said was awesome. She really enjoyed the animation course. And yeah, it was really great. Do you have anything to share that you experienced over Friday and Saturday, Ro, that like really? Oh, I don't hear
I'll
you. Are
start
you
with
muted? There
in
you go.
general. No worries. I love that we have tracks. So people know exactly where to start. So if you're just getting started, you don't feel overwhelmed, like, okay, where do I go? You go to the getting started, right? If you know that if you're already done elementary, you need to get into high school, you know that the high school, the homeschool to high school piece is for you. So I really like that we have tracks so people know where to go. What I love is that everything is biblically based, right? As you talked about
Yes.
before. So it's not just, hey, here are 10 steps to do, but it's like, here is the community. Here's God walking you through it, and then giving you strategies and tips, but also understanding that your walk may look different. And that's when you lean into God. So I may say, here are 3 things that are really important. Here are 3 things that may help, but you have to go back and take that to God to customize it for you. So I
Mm-hmm.
really like that
Mm-hmm.
balance of the community, the biblical aspect, and then the practical pieces. Um, I think the vendor hall, they had so many vendors, but it wasn't overwhelming. It was beautifully laid out. The spacing was good, and you felt like you can go through everything without feeling that you're missing anything, but at the same time, you're not feeling overwhelmed. So I really like how the layout was and the amount of vendors that we had. Um, I just love that we had jam-packed sessions to the point where you're like, which one do I choose? But again,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
recorded, so don't worry about
yeah.
that. But you had so many options. Like there's sometimes you're like, I wish I could duplicate myself. I need to be in both sessions. But you just went to the one that worked best for you, or maybe if you didn't want to move, you just stayed in the one that was happening next
Yeah.
in that location. But you really got a feel for everything. There were like the practical speakers like Abby Banks, who was like, hey, here's what you do instead of a worksheet. Here are 100 tips that you can do instead of using a principle. And then you have people encouraging you and like creating revival in your heart with Rebecca
Mm-hmm.
Spooner. Then you have
Mm-hmm.
the mindset shift with Mike Snavely. I hope I said his name
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah,
Talking about
yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
return to Genesis and the
Mm-hmm.
importance of the foundation, and then the mystery of dinosaurs. Like the sessions were so expansive that anything you wanted, it was
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I listened to Mike Snavely's last session last night. Um, the ancient, I can't remember what the title is, but
Lost civilization, ancient civilization.
yeah, ancient was in there. Good stuff. Like he's like, I'm not saying this is how it is, but it could be. This could be an explanation for why this. I'm like, that's really interesting. I love things that make me think like that. I was challenging people to think outside the box. You know, we have this public school system that we've been trained in for years and years. So what is education, and do you make the grade? Kind of thinking about those constructs, breaking them down. Why are we using those? Should we be using those? And yeah, there was a lot of, I had a lot of good questions and feedback from those things too. It's just things, maybe not the thing you would go to first, but if you get the recordings, I challenge you to listen to them because it gets you thinking, why am I doing what I'm doing? You know, what is it that we're trying to accomplish here, and what does God want us to be doing?
And that's
So
such a good point, Ginger,
yeah.
though. Like when you talk about what is education, because like we come and we're like, we're doing home-centered education and we're educating our kids. And if you don't really sit and take a moment, you just duplicate the public school in your house, right? But when you sit back and say, well, what does education look like? What does it really mean to be educated versus
Mhm,
indoctrinated versus just
mhm,
fed a bunch of random facts versus just
mhm,
memorizing things? What is education? And what does
yeah,
that look like for you? And what does your individual child who you're training up in the way they should go,
yeah,
what do they need to know,
yep,
right? So
exactly,
it's good to just kind
exactly.
of sit back, think about things. You CHAP holds that space for you. Because in our everyday busy life, we don't always have time to go back to the why, go back to the mission.
Mhm,
When you get a
mhm.
session like, what is education? You're like, oh, maybe I need to shift my mind or shift the way that I'm doing something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I just think more and more, like for me, I'm realizing, you know what, this is like, and I say this at the end of my shows, every moment, every second belongs to Jesus. Everything. So am I going back to him? Is he the one who's directing my path? Or am I going on my assumptions? And what are my
Mm,
assumptions? Do I even know what my assumptions are?
right.
So yeah, challenging things to think over. So yeah, there's so much encouragement. The revival, oh, Rebecca Spooner on Saturday. I'm
Yes.
like, yes, like it's just so, yeah, it gets the fire lit, right? It gets you excited and like that is why I'm doing this thing, you know, and I'm doing it here in my little corner of the world. You know, this is what God gave me to do. And that is what we wanted to accomplish, right? That is why we do what we're doing, is to give you guys the gumption to continue on that journey, you know, that God has put you on in your space and time, right? So, let me just check my notes here and see if there's anything else I wanted to make sure that oh, the little tiny vendor hall was really cute on Thursday. So there's this little special needs vendor hall that was in the gym, and it was really great. I really loved that people had that time. Again, it was low key. It was
Hmm.
not overwhelming for these folks going through challenges with their kids. And they're really, you know, you want your kids to do well and you want to
Yeah.
parent well. And it's just such a burden. So I think it was great that they were there and it was quiet. It wasn't stressful and they could just really talk through things. And it was a lot of the speakers. So the speakers were there to um, connect with you beyond even just the sessions. I thought that was really wonderful too. Yeah, I did mention Rebecca Spooner's awesome messages and lots of thinking and pondering, which is
Yeah.
wonderful. And I don't know, I got thank you notes from people, like written thank you notes that came in back. I thought that was so awesome. That's so when you do stuff like that, that is encouraging to us. It's a lot of hard work, but it encourages us to continue that hard
Yeah.
work because it is blessing folks out there. So I'm telling you, it's something to teach your children. Write thank you notes. Like saying
That's
thank you is
another.
really great, but a handwritten thank you note speaks volumes because it takes that effort. Handwritten is so awesome. And then of course the scholarships were fun and the big checks with the American flag on it. It's really fun. So it's good. So, Ro, thinking ahead to next year, is any advice on anyone? So we're here. We've just gone through this event. We're encouraged to go through this coming year. Um, any advice that you would have for anyone who was there, might come next year, couldn't come this year? What do you say to the person who's like, well, I couldn't come this year?
One word, come. So my advice would be to come for all the reasons we just listed in terms of the community, in terms of it's not just homeschool, it's home building, right? Like we're
Yeah,
literally covering
yeah,
everything. There was one track on how to habits that create a sticky marriage, right? You're talking about marriage.
yes,
And I think so for the person who feels like a veteran, they're like, oh, I don't need the vendor hall. I'm already set on curriculum. I don't need the how to or the getting started. I've already started. For that person, I would say come for community, come for refreshing, come for rejuvenation, right? Like just getting out of your normal, taking the kids with you, or just taking your husband, or just taking your wife, or just taking a girlfriend, right? Like it could be whatever you want it to be. You could come solo as, just like some me time. It could be a
Mhm.
girls' trip, it could be a couples trip, it could be a family trip. You can make it whatever you want it to be, but just come knowing that you're going to be refreshed. So if you're already figured it out and you already have a rhythm going, just come for community. If you've never been, what are you doing with your life? Where have you been? You have to come, right? Like make sure that you're subscribed to the newsletter, make sure that you're subscribed to these podcasts and these YouTube shows so that you can know when the next one is happening. Really come, like I'll share one story. Ginger, you sent someone over. I think every time someone says New Jersey, they're like, fine, bro. And I love that. Like there were two women who came to me. They're like, we're from New Jersey. We're coming to find our tribe. Like, why is this not in New Jersey? Do they have anything for New Jersey?
Mhm.
And they were just so blessed. We chatted right after Rebecca Spooner talk, and they were just so blessed. They came just as two friends. The husbands were home with the kids, and they were like, I need this. Every single time it's happening, I will be here. And I thought that was so beautiful because they weren't necessarily new where they're like, I need support, I need support. It was, this was refreshing, right? So if you're that person who just wants to make sure that you're constantly fueled for your journey, then come on out. And maybe you don't need the help, come and support others,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
CHAP has mentors, sign up to be a mentor, but come out, be in community. There are people who, there was a woman in the vendor hall who just tapped me and said, my booth is over there, come see me. I'm like, okay. Like I just felt compelled to do what she said. And she's like, I'm a veteran homeschool mom. And she just started telling me her story. And it was so encouraging. She doesn't know me, I don't know her, but just that connection, just hearing her story and seeing her on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So literally it would be one word. Whoever you are, wherever you are in your journey, come.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Yes. I have a friend. She always comes. She's like, I just don't know why people don't come because it's just so amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you know what? Prepare now.
Mhm.
Um, get it in your head. Keep it in there. Pencil it on your calendar. We don't have a date for next year. If you sign up for our e-news, you will be the first to know when we know. There's some different possibilities brewing. We're trying to figure out what's going
Mhm.
to fit best for the organization and the states around even. Um, but keep it in your mind. There will be an event.
Yeah.
So be prepared for that, be flexible. If you got to tuck some dollars away for the future, then do that so that you know you can do it. Be thinking in advance about babysitting options, maybe even talking to people. Hey, if I do this, would you be available? You know, this kind of a
Yeah.
thing. Just some planning in advance is going to help a lot. And then if you didn't get to come, we do have recordings. So if you would like to um, listen to the things that Ro has been saying, all the encouraging things you can pick and choose. You can buy the whole set if you want, but Alliance Recordings is who we work with, alliancerecordings.com. And you can just look up to the CHAP group. There's a big banner on the top. They do all the state organizations events. But again, that'll be in the e-news. I'm telling you, you got to be in the e-news. So it's at
Yeah.
chaponline.com under the contact tab on the end, the furthest one on the right. You can click on that and it says subscribe to e-news. I think it's also under resources. So sign up because that e-news is going to give you all the information about what is up and coming, how to get recordings, how to find the podcast, and articles. We post articles throughout the year to encourage you too, if you didn't know. So that is a great resource for you. And I think it's really wise to be connected with that so you know what's going on with CHAP and in the homeschool land. So, and there's one other thing we wanted to make sure that we shared uh, because it's an awesome opportunity here for you and your family, but it's also a help to CHAP, and that's Kalahari Days. Did you want to share anything about that, Ro?
Sure. So in October, there will be an opportunity to meet a bunch of homeschoolers. Like a lot of times people are like, where do I find my tribe? How do I find people? I don't want to do Facebook. I don't want to do social media. I just want to see people in person. Well, during this time, there will be homeschoolers at Kalahari, bonding, having fun, and you get to meet people in person and see if that's who you want to do life with.
Yeah, so the Kalahari, if you don't know, it's an indoor water
Water
park
park.
in the Poconos. So you're like, water park, October, it's indoor. It's really fun. Is it African themed? Like
Yes.
Sahara? Yeah, so it's animals and all, everything is like, do I want to say the Sahara? No, what is it called? Serengeti? Maybe it's a Serengeti.
I don't know.
Gorgeous. The building is gorgeous. It is gorgeous, but it's very fun. If you've ever been to Great Wolf Lodge, it's very similar to that. But when you sign up and go to that, it's actually a fundraiser for us. So you go, have a fun time, have a vacation, make it family, make it a girls' getaway, whatever it is you want to make it, and then you're blessing us in the process. And actually, which is what Sarah shared on, I think maybe Saturday morning, was that we're kind of testing the waters to see if that's a location you'd like to have convention at.
Hmm.
So if you go and you think, oh yeah, I'd do this for a convention, or nah, no thanks. That's another reason that we're doing it. We're looking to see what y'all's interest would be in a location like that. So, well, Ro, before we wrap it up, is there anything else that you think people need to know or be aware of or be encouraged with?
Yes,
Any
a few things. So
thoughts?
the first thing is we talked about common, and we want to be cognizant of the fact that a lot of times when you're doing home-centered education, you may be on one income. We understand that. So that's why Ginger is saying save, start now. But what you also need to know is that you can come for free. You can volunteer for a very short amount of time and get to come for free. So imagine sitting in a session, being blessed, but you're coming for free, right? Imagine being at a booth, welcoming people, getting to know people, but you're coming for free. So if the cost is a barrier, then there are ways around that. You can totally volunteer, and you don't have to volunteer for the entire conference because then you'd miss everything. But you volunteer for 3 to 4 hours, you volunteer for some time, and you can come for free. Now you may say, okay, what about getting there? How do I get there? So, depending on where you are, you can drive over, you can figure out what works best for you. But it is such a blessing just driving through like the lush greenery and seeing the mountains. Like, honestly, driving from New Jersey to Pennsylvania, going through like the Amish town, heading over to Lancaster, doing the outlets. I just think it's so beautiful, and um it's just a gorgeous scene. So do yourself a favor
Mhm,
and come. The
mhm,
second thing I would say is a survey is coming out. When you see that survey, please, please, please take time to fill it out. The reason is your voice matters. What you say, we take into consideration for the next planning year. So we need to know what you think, right? I always say we don't know what we don't know. So if you don't tell us, we're not going to know. If you thought something was amazing and you want to do it again, let us know. If you came and you went to the lunch hall and you ate that delicious cheesecake and you had that great food, then let us know. If you were like, okay, I like this, but it was too much of that, we need to know, right? So
mhm,
whatever your experience was, please just share it. Don't feel like you need to hold back. Don't feel like you're hurting feelings if something didn't work. And if something
mhm.
worked, please, please tell us.
Yeah.
So fill out the survey and give us your feedback because that really helps with the planning process.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We want to hear from you. And the other thing I will add to all that is to, when we have communications, read it. I know it's so easy to shoot off the inbox message and say, "Hey, blah blah blah," and yes. But I'm telling you, we get all that information together. It's either on the website, it's either in the e-news, and this could be for attendees, this could be for vendors, this could be for all of us. There is communications. Go ahead and take the time to read it, because the information most likely is there, and we do have that FAQ, which is very helpful. So yes, but if you cannot find the answer to your question, of course we are here to help you out. And we take suggestions. Like if you have an idea for something that might work a little bit better next year, we would love to hear it. But yeah, like the lunch ticket thing, I think was a challenge this year. Um, pre-purchase your lunch tickets, right? That's the thing. So just keep an eye on those emails. And I know sometimes they go to spam. So I don't know if you can put us in your um
Contacts, yeah, you can
contact list.
whitelist.
Yeah, the contact list, so that it doesn't stick you in spam, because sometimes
Yeah,
things that come from us might look like it's spam, or from, a vendor or whatever, or a business, and they kind of,
yeah,
because people can't find our emails sometimes. So yeah, put us in your contact list and you won't have any problems getting information from us, and you'll be well prepared, and
that's
that would be
right.
great. So Well, thank you out there to everyone who came. You made our weekend because obviously without you guys coming, there wouldn't be a reason to have it. So I am blessed because you were blessed, and it's a joy to know that the work that we did really helped people and brought relief and knowledge and encouragement and hopefully drawed you closer to the Lord and walking on that path with him.
Mhm.
That's exactly why we're doing what we're doing. And so thank you. Thank you for coming. Vendors, if you're watching, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming back. Some of you came back. We were so excited. And we had a waiting list. So there were so many people interested in coming. So that is so good to know because, again, if you're not there, it's like half of our arm is missing, right? So
Yeah.
we are so glad for the vendors to be there, and speakers, thank you so much. Your messages are so important and so good to hear. The challenging ones as much as the affirming ones, everything. We need that growth, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was great. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you,
And
thank you, thank you.
yes,
Please get the
yes.
recording. Like I promise you, I'm not even being biased. There are recordings from last year that I listened to as recent as last month. Because sometimes you just need to hear something again, and then you listen and you're like, wait, I didn't hear that the first time. I didn't process it that way. So definitely get the recordings. Coming to convention is everything. Taking those recordings home with you will last you for a lifetime. So definitely
Yeah.
get the recording.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Keep your eye on your e-news. It'll be in there. All right, everybody. We hope you have a wonderful, wonderful summer. Enjoy all those. My kids broke into their Craftsman crates already this morning, so we're getting right into it. But enjoy your summer, and we will see you. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to mention.
Tell us.
What's that?
Tell us.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, I was going to mention next week was D-Demi, but it popped in my brain, so I'm going to say it now. July and August, I am taking off because I'm taking a mission trip to Ghana. And my
Yeah.
daughter and I need to prepare. And then afterwards, I need to get my stage production going. If you've been around for any amount of time, you know that I do a stage production every fall, and that begins in August. So I'm kind of like, So I'm taking that opportunity to get all of the missing episodes onto YouTube. So don't be bombarded, but there's going to be a video every day. And some days there's going to be two because we're putting out row videos every week also. So there's going to be a lot, but don't worry. There's plenty of time to catch up on all those things. I just wanted to let you guys know I'm not going to be bringing out any new shows, but I will be back in September. And Row is going to be putting out new shows the whole way through the summer. So we're good, and enjoy your summertime. And we look forward to being back with you in the fall. I do.
See you soon.
Everybody, bye.